It was supposed to be just another grand day at Buckingham Palace. The white roses in the garden were in full bloom, the sun painted the ancient stones in gold, and the royal staff moved with their usual calm, rehearsed efficiency. The occasion, a formal Commonwealth gathering, was one the palace had hosted countless times before. Guests dressed in their finest, photographers ready to capture another carefully choreographed event. But something felt different. Something in the air made the usual charm feel heavy. Whispers moved faster than the breeze. Why was Prince William insisting on speaking alone? Where were King Charles and Queen Camilla? And what was so important that it couldn't wait another day? As the guests took their seats, the room seemed to brace itself. When Prince William stepped forward, the silence wasn't just out of respect, it was tension, thick and uneasy. He didn't smile. He didn't gesture. He simply stood, his presence calm but firm. And when he began to speak, every person in the room knew they were about to witness something they'd never forget. He started by honoring the monarchy's long legacy, the traditions, the history, the deep connection to the people of Britain and the Commonwealth. But then, with a voice steady and resolute, William made it clear, things must change. Not eventually. Now. His words, simple yet piercing, cut through centuries of formality. The royal family, he said, must no longer stand apart from the people. It must stand with them. What does it mean when a future king challenges the very system he was born into? What kind of courage does it take to shake a foundation built over generations? As William continued, he revealed a bold, unexpected vision. The monarchy, he explained, needed to become something more inclusive, more relatable, and more in tune with the real lives of ordinary people. He proposed a shared leadership, where Princess and Prince Edward and his wife Catherine would all take on key roles. The image of a single all-powerful monarch was being replaced by a team model. In essence, William was stepping into a role of acting regent, not by title, but by action. He would now represent the crown in key meetings, international affairs, and public engagements. With the quiet support of King Charles, he was officially taking the reins. But something, or rather someone, was glaringly missing from this vision. Queen Camilla's name wasn't mentioned once. Not even in passing. Her absence hung in the air like smoke after fire. The silence wasn't just strange, it was deliberate. Those watching realized instantly that this was more than a speech. This was a statement, and it didn't include her. As William concluded and stepped away, the reaction in the room wasn't applause. It was stunned disbelief. Camilla, seated quietly, had started the day calm, composed, and seemingly prepared for ceremony. But as William's words unfolded, something inside her seemed to unravel. Her eyes darted around the room. She clutched the event program tightly. Her breathing changed. Then, without warning, her body went limp. She collapsed in her chair as gasps rippled through the crowd. Aides rushed in. King Charles, visibly pale and shaken, called her name over and over. Chaos replaced tradition. And within seconds, a private royal moment turned into a public spectacle. Phones began to buzz. News outlets raced to confirm what had just happened. The palace press team scrambled for a response. Camilla's fall wasn't just a medical emergency. It was a symbol. A symbol of everything shifting beneath the surface. Had William intentionally left her out? Was this the result of private disagreements finally boiling over? Or was it simply a painful misstep on an otherwise noble mission? The speculation was instant and relentless. Some called it calculated. Others said it was cold. But no one could ignore the impact. Those close to Camilla later shared that her collapse was not just from stress, it was heartbreak. After spending years slowly earning her place in the royal family, after facing public criticism and enduring harsh headlines, this was how it ended? To be erased with silence in a moment that was supposed to define the future of the crown? Her supporters were devastated. Her critics, uncomfortably vindicated. And the institution that was meant to keep order now looked deeply fractured. What drove William to make such a drastic move? Those who know him say the answer lies in the legacy of his mother, Princess Diana. William has carried her values quietly but firmly: compassion, honesty, and an instinct to connect with people beyond titles and status. He's watched the monarchy struggle with outdated customs, seen how disconnected it can feel from modern life. And he knows that unless it changes now, it may not survive at all. His message wasn't just about structure, it was about soul. A call for relevance. A call for purpose. But at what cost? Camilla's exclusion wasn't a small oversight. It was a defining moment. For years, she fought to be more than just the other woman. She became a queen, stood by Charles's side, and showed the world she belonged. But in a single, silent omission, all of it seemed undone. Public opinion split quickly. Some believed her role had always been temporary. Others felt she had earned her place. The divide between sympathy and support became a battleground on social media, news headlines, and across dinner tables. As for King Charles, his role began to blur. He appeared weakened, not just physically, but emotionally. His authority was being quietly passed to his son, and the dignity he once embodied now looked fragile. The palace, once united, was slowly splitting into factions. Some loyal to the old guard, Charles and Camilla. Others placing their hope in the next generation, William and Catherine. The shift wasn't scandalous, it was subtle. But it was clear. The image of Camilla falling became iconic overnight. It wasn't just a personal tragedy, it was the fall of a chapter. And as the dust settled, a new figure began to rise. Catherine, Princess of Wales, stood quietly but powerfully in the background. Her calm, steady presence made her the emotional anchor in a moment of chaos. She didn't need grand statements or dramatic speeches. She had earned the public's trust not with titles, but with consistency, grace, and humanity. To many, she wasn't just the future queen, she was the heart of the monarchy. The public's reaction was as complex as the event itself. Younger generations applauded William's boldness. They saw it as a much-needed evolution, one that brought the monarchy closer to real life. Older generations, however, felt uneasy. Was tradition being thrown away too quickly? Was dignity being sacrificed for modern appeal? The debate was fierce. But the conversation had changed forever. Inside the palace, everything was shifting. Power dynamics were no longer clear. Who was really in charge? Who held influence? Who would be remembered as the one who brought progress, or the one who lost control? The emotional toll was heavy. Family members caught between love, loyalty, and duty. Years of carefully maintained appearances began to crack. And behind every public move were private conversations filled with tension, sadness, and uncertainty. Yet despite the turmoil, one thing was undeniable. Prince William had set a new course. He wasn't trying to tear down the monarchy. He was trying to save it, by bringing it into the present, by making it human, by forcing it to face hard truths. He knew that the days of blind admiration were gone. People wanted authenticity, not ceremony. Connection, not perfection. But change always comes with a price. And in this case, the cost was Camilla's place in history. Whether seen as a necessary sacrifice or a tragic injustice, her removal marked the end of a very long fight to belong. The royal family, in trying to move forward, had left behind a woman who had finally found her footing, only to be pushed aside. As the dust settles, King Charles remains on the throne. But the crown's weight is already shifting to William and Catherine. They are now the faces of a new monarchy, one that is trying to be relatable, modern, and emotionally real. The palace may look the same, but inside, everything has changed. The traditions remain, but the power has quietly moved on. And so, the events of that single day will be remembered not for the speeches or the ceremony, but for what they truly were: a turning point. A day when history bent in a new direction. A day when silence spoke louder than titles. A day when the future of the monarchy was rewritten, not by decree, but by choice. If this story made you feel something, if you were surprised, heartbroken, or simply curious about what's next, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that go beyond the headlines. This is just the beginning.